Hey, what is up, guys? This is Dr. J, aka Flex with Dr. J. I have a special guest here with me. Her name is Missy Bunch, and she is also from Instagram. So her Instagram name is Death of the Desk. So we're both in the same type of field, helping people to help them with their fitness and also to help them stay healthy at their desk. So what we're going to be doing today is discussing our top 3 tips on how to stay healthy at your desk. Missy, you want to kind of start?
Yeah, sure. So hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. And yeah, a couple things. I mean, what's crazy is the longer I'm in the business, the more simple my tips are.
Okay.
Like back in the day, like 10 years ago, it would be like all these, a million things. And now one of my top tips is breathing,
Oh,
just
interesting.
down regulating people that are in high stress environments. And people think that's kind of crazy and weird, but the more I study, the more I realize we need to calm down the nervous system. So one of my favorite exercises that literally works every time is breathing. So
Yeah.
let's just do it together.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's do
So
it.
what you'll do for this, there's obviously a million breathing techniques, but one that most desk workers don't utilize is like a belly breath.
Okay.
So we're going to lengthen up, make sure your toes are in line with your knees in line with hips, make a little double chin, quiet the
Okay.
ribs down.
Got you.
And then we'll go 2 hands lower belly. See if I can
Oh,
get my body in
yeah,
here.
let me do that too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And actually, you know what? Let's do 1 hand lower belly, 1 hand chest, so
Oh,
people
yeah,
can.
because a lot of people are those chest breathers that get stressed out a lot, right?
That way they can make sure the top hand's not moving.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is go in through the nose for 2 with no chest and try to fill up the belly.
Okay.
Through the mouth, we're going to exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, and really squeeze everything super tiny. In for 2, no chest. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. In for 2. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I feel like people that are watching this should actually be doing this right now as we speak.
They totally will.
Yeah. I already feel better already. I feel de-stressed.
Yeah. I would have done 5, if they were following along, but that's just the gist of it, that they can start practicing
Yeah, definitely.
now. Between emails is great.
Mm-hmm. So you decide to kind of put it intermittently in between your 9 to 5 shift, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
I tell people it's like essential oils. Less, more frequent.
Yeah.
Is more effective, right? Rather than 1 time a day, 100 breaths.
Right.
I'd rather have 1 breath every hour.
Yeah.
To interrupt old behavior patterns.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so
what's yours?
Let's see. So my first tip is don't adapt to your surroundings and make your surroundings adapt to you.
Yeah.
So that's one of the easier thing that people can do, minus the different exercises and tips that we both love, is a lot of people adapt to their surroundings. So let's say I'm currently on my Lenovo laptop right now, but currently the screen is probably a little bit shorter or a lot right underneath my nose. So over time, let's say if it's an 8-hour shift, I might force myself to do this because the screen height is adjusted. So if I do this, it's going to put me into a position like this. A lot of people tend to get achy during those times.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people should be able to kind of monitor their desk height and kind of have the screen right above their brow level, so they're not looking up too high, but not down too low, so they're in that forward head position. Okay, not to say that forward head position is a bad thing, right? If you don't have pain with it, that's fine, but you want to make sure that the surroundings are adapting to you. And a couple other things might be like monitor brightness or your word size. So let's say you're reading size 10 font, you're more likely to squint at the screen. Is not good for your eyes, and it also might not be as good for your general position. and staying there for a whole 9 to 5 shift. So make sure that your words are large enough, and then also make sure that the monitor is bright enough so you're not squinting at the screen. And I know that you're kind of big on doing eye exercises and everything. So eye stress clearly equals neck stress, and there is some association there.
That is such a great tip. And I forget to tell people that all the time. That's amazing. I mean,
Right.
just like lifting your computer 2 inches could save you a lot of discomfort in the long run. So it's a really good tip.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. I love the environment thing because it's like I have all my clients, you know, like move their chair or move their phone at the edge of their desk. So when it rings, they have to like take 2 steps to go get the call, you know?
Oh, that's totally it. Yeah.
Rather than like having everything like right here.
Yeah.
And it's made a huge difference.
Yep.
So that's really, really great. Okay, so what's another one of mine? So yeah, breathing. Honestly, one of my favorite tips is take all your conference calls standing or walking, if possible.
Oh, wow. That is very smart.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually got that from Sue Falsoni.
Okay.
So I didn't make it up, but I heard it from her at a live conference I did with her. I was a student listening to her talk.
Nice.
And I just thought that was brilliant. Phone equals standing or walking, right? Because that's everyone's 9 to 5 life, taking meetings, doing this and that. So I just thought that was so cool and a great way to get your steps in and change the orientation of your body.
Yeah. I mean, even just getting moving for just a minute conference call can make a world of a difference, especially if you're taking a ton of calls. You don't want to be taking all your calls into one bulk and you're just sitting there all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome tip. All right. So some people might have heard of this, but I call it the 20-20 rule. So the 20-20 rule is basically for every 20 minutes that you sit down, you have to stare somewhere away from your computer for 20 seconds. And so that basically means that you'll get that 3 times per hour. So that when you stare away from the computer, your eyes get to adjust to something differently. It changes, it stresses your eyes out in a different way or de-stresses your eyes. And basically it allows your eyes to get that break, get that mental break, staring away, staring somewhere far from a distance so that your eyes can accommodate a different stress. That might actually alleviate some of your neck and your spine stress as well.
Yeah, that's a super awesome one. It actually goes way back to like our hunter-gatherer DNA, right? Like we're designed to look far, to hunt and see movement, and none of us look far anymore.
Yeah, we're looking 2 feet away from us, or we're an inch away from our cell phone all the time.
Yeah, that's huge. Awesome.
But I do add in, well, I also added in one more thing though, but like, you know, for every 20 seconds of looking away.
Sorry about the truck.
Oh, what happened? Oh, I can't even hear the truck.
Like, of course, randomly in our interview.
Oh, it's all good. But, you know, so there's also the fact that, you know, when you look at something for 20 seconds away from your computer screen, it can make a big difference. But for every 20 minutes, you know, 20 seconds of fidgeting in your chair, right? So we forget to think that our fascia is not moving. We're not getting a lot of blood flow. So for every 20 seconds, just pretend you have ants in your pants, right? Just kind of fidget around, kind of move side to side, give a little shoulder shimmy, a little chin tuck and the double chin, and you're good to go.
I'm going to try to move us away from oh, that's so much better. Okay.
Oh, there you
go. Good call. Husband, good call.
Hey, how's it going?
I love that, the little fidget. Oh, that's so much better.
Yeah. So ants in your pants, just have like that little mental imagery and, you know, pretend there's ants in your pants and kind of get moving. And just little bits of movement. It can be random, chaotic movement, but it's better than doing nothing.
Yeah, totally. There's a lot you can do in a computer chair.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah, a whole lot, especially if it rotates.
Yeah.
Which I'm doing right now as we speak.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite one. Grab the desk and see how far you can rotate your lower body.
Yeah.
Like you breathing in rotation.
Breathing in rotation.
Yeah.
People don't get enough rotation in their life. They just stay stagnant right in front of their computer. So everyone needs a little bit of that.
Yeah, exactly. So based on, let's kind of piggyback on your 20-second on, 20 off thing.
Okay.
We can do eye exercises. So You probably already know my pencil push-ups and eye circles.
I have seen that one, and I liked it and favorited it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Let's do a different one then so that your followers can have like a new one maybe.
Okay.
So there's an interesting one where you actually spiral. You can spiral this way or you can spiral. Yeah, you can spiral like big to small.
Okay.
So that's kind of a fun one. Let's do that one. So
you keep your head still and then move your eyes?
Exactly.
Got it.
So I'll go sideways so you can kind of see how this works, but you want to get the tip of a pen to be very clear. So whatever distance you can keep the target clear and lengthen the body, hold the head still, and then we'll start eyes up and then just make a very, well, not very large circle, maybe the size of a beach ball. Keep your eyes on your target. Ooh, go about half that speed.
Okay.
And as you're coming in towards your face, make the circle smaller and smaller. And then I'll face this way so you guys can see what my eyes are doing. And then by the time the pen is super close, I'm cross-eyed.
Cross-eyed.
Ooh. And then you slowly go out away from your face and make the circle bigger. And just try not to move the head. And then any parts that are uncomfortable, like for me, up and right seems uncomfortable today. I call it flossing. I just like floss.
Oh, so you just stay in that little quadrant right there?
Yeah, I just hang out there and do like 10 back and forth and then just kind of continue with the circle. And you can feel it. It's usually like somewhere in this upper rainbow.
Okay.
Because you never look up. So like one of those will be uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say like one spiral each direction would be like really great for a desk worker.
Okay. How often would you say that they would do it?
Oh, you don't want to know the real answer. I would love one of those an hour, but no one's going to.
Nice.
So I just say like 3 to 5 reps maybe, or just one in each direction 3 times a day would be like minimum.
That's awesome. I really like how you add in eye exercises because one, they're like more fun than the exercises I prescribe as a physical therapist. It just seems like it's a whole new dimension that I haven't looked into, straighten up your posture or doing chin tucks. It just seems like it's another area that other people have not looked into, especially because eye muscles are actually muscles, right? There's the skeletal muscles. And, a good point for that is we're always looking down at the computer and we're always looking one direction. But if we're looking down all the time, a lot of times maybe we're using our downward gazing muscles more often. And maybe we need to use more of our superior oblique muscles and some of the muscles that are looking right and left so that we can have some of that muscle balance. I think that's kind of a thing. I mean,
that's a thing. But here's what's even crazier. So to the client or to the desk athlete, they're just doing an eye exercise their coach told them to do. Right. But for someone who's in neuro rehab, right, let's just say the medial rectus, the muscle attached to the inside of the eye.
Right.
Or your superior, whatever. This one is actually governed by a cranial nerve.
Right.
Right. So to me, I'm actually exercising your brainstem.
Yeah.
Right. So like you're doing pencil push-ups, like, the stupid eye exercise.
Right.
But we're actually working out your brainstem, which is very underactive for most people.
Right.
And in the brainstem is where autonomics live, right? Blinking, blood pressure, heart beating.
Right.
So just by doing simple eye exercises, you're activating the brainstem, calming down the nervous system, and then getting smarter autonomics. Just simply by, doing 5 of those a day. It's just crazy.
Yeah. And they're so simple to implement. It's just a matter of if people actually want to do it. And if they can do it, it can make a world of a difference for their entire career as a 9-to-5er.
Exactly. I mean, I always make my clients repeat back to me what they're doing and why. I go, why, Dr. J, would I have you make your eyes go in?
Right.
And then the client's like, oh, my brainstem, something about breathe. Okay. And then it actually has them learn how
Right.
important it is.
Right.
And I just wait. I go, tell me what I just said. What did you hear?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they get all tripped up, and then I'll do that until they get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they do their eye exercises because they
No,
know
I think,
how.
yeah, I think it's just the fact that when you start to, and a lot of people may not know this because, they're not the experts of their field, but, a lot of our eye muscles are governed by our cranial nerves. Our diaphragm is governed by C3, C4, C5. So there's obviously pretty big connections, like just breathing alone can help decrease stiffness in C3, C4, C5. And it's not unruly or out of the picture just to say that they are very much connected, right? Our whole body is connected in that way. So just breathing can relieve neck stiffness or headaches for that matter.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other direction, your diaphragm's connected to your pelvic floor.
Oh, indeed.
So,
Yeah.
like literally, right? Like
Yeah.
anatomically connected.
Right.
So up here in the C's, all the way down, and you think about, no one does pelvic floor exercises. They don't even know they have a pelvic floor,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
And then there's low back pain and sciatica and blah, blah, blah. And what if
Yeah.
just breathing alone helped that person have less discomfort?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it plenty of times for many different people. Just, people that are stressed and they have, whenever I think that they have like a headache here and they have low back pain here and they have a left hip pain, a lot of times if you can't solve everything, you're like thinking like as a PT student, I would have been like, oh, let's look at every single little joint, every single little muscle and see if it helps. But then all of a sudden you just think of the bigger picture, like, oh, maybe not breathing right. So you just look at the breathing patterns and they're a huge like chest breather, right? And they're not breathing correctly through their diaphragm. So just giving them that one exercise is like the second visit. They're like, dude, my pain's gone. And it's been there for like 10 years.
Exactly.
Right.
And
So
they
you
keep
get big
getting
ones.
massages like on their SEM,
Right.
because
Right.
they think, it's up here and nothing's working. And it's like, yeah, well, breathing.
Yeah, indeed. Great tips. Great tips. Okay. So my last tip is called creating a positive buffer. So I'm not sure if you ever heard of that, but
No.
I've kind of thought of it in my own way. So hear me out. So let's say we're sitting at our computer and we're at our 0 point. So 0 point means that we're neither in pain, but we're also not feeling super good, right? So obviously, let's say if I made you do an hour of thoracic mobility and breathing, right? You would feel pretty good. You would be on the positive end of the buffer zone, okay? So let's say for every hour that I'm sitting at work, right, and I'm not moving and I'm staring at the computer, I might assign that a negative number, a negative value. Okay, so let's just give it a random number like -5. So -5 means for every hour that I sit, right, then I start to creep towards that end where I'm feeling pain. So what I want to do is some of the things that you talked about and some of the things that I talked about, whether that be an eye exercise, breathing, whether you just elongate your spine and go into a chin tuck a few times, like 10 times every hour. What that will do is it'll get you more towards that positive end. So for 1 minute of exercise, I'll give that a +2. And these are all very subjective values, but you can imagine that, let's say you're sitting for 8 hours on end, that's a -40, right? What does a -40 feel like to you right now? That's probably feeling pretty bad, neck stiffness, back stiffness, shoulder tight. Yep, you're starting to stretch right now because you're trying to gain that positive buffer right now.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
be -40.
Yeah, nobody wants to be -40, but the
No
thing
one
is,
wants that.
if you think about -40 times 5 over a 5-day shift, Monday to Friday, -200, right? I know it's kind of scary in that way, but it makes sense to people. So if I really put in thought to do my eye exercises, to elongate my spine, to breathe, and to do maybe just random, get out of my slouch position and chin tuck and pull my shoulder blades back and do that 10 times every hour, that's +2, that's +2, that's +2, that's +5, right? And then the thing is, by the end of an 8-hour shift, you might be zeroed out or you might be on the positive end. So that's what I call creating a positive buffer, and it just makes sense, and it puts it in a more of a mathematical way of thinking about your pain. And I hope that helps people. So
Oh, that's freaking awesome. I love that.
yeah,
I feel like I've heard something similar to that, but I can't find it in my brain. like currency, you know, like you have a movement bank account and like you
Oh
sync
yeah.
up. It's kind of similar to what you're saying, but I really, really like just making up the metric, like -5. Okay, now we have something to measure. That's
Right.
super, super valuable, especially for our followers.
Yeah,
Like,
indeed.
I'm literally talking to desk athletes. That's who I care about, you know?
Yeah, seriously. So, like, for let's say if you know what your limit is, let's say an hour of sitting is pretty excruciating and you know that you have a headache, you might assign that like a larger number for like a +10, right? So
Mhm.
it might take you a couple +2s to get over the hump, but it all depends on your pain level, your subjective experience of how you feel at the desk. So maybe you need to get out of your chair more often, take some water breaks, talk to colleagues, de-stress, do some
Mhm.
of the things that we kind of just talked about.
Yeah, exact. Drink more water so you have to pee more.
That is
Take
true.
extra steps.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, I mean, Fitbits are really good for tracking your steps, but
Yeah.
more importantly, it's, you know, the Fitbit isn't going to track your sitting, your breathing patterns, and everything. So, kind of take this into account for a lot of those people that are at the desk a lot, and implement some of these tips from Missy Bunch and FlexwithDoctorJay.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. That was really, really fun.
Yeah. So take care, and yeah, talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.